Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the How to Film Weddings podcast. My name is John Bunn and today's a great one. I'm interviewing Carly Morris, better known as Clicked by Carly. She is based in Arizona and has done a really good job with her Instagram and TikTok over the last year plus and has built a multi-six-figure business shooting weddings in Arizona and beyond. Today I dig in with her about what she's doing on social media, specifically Instagram and TikTok, kind of her mindset, some of her tips and tricks on what is she doing to get all these bookings, get videos to not only go viral, but to get people to inquire and book with her. So it's a great conversation where we dig in, and I'm super pumped to throw us over to that. But before we do, I just want to say music bed. That's all I really need to say at this point. If you're not using music bed, I mean, at this point, why not? I mean, it's the best place to license music for your wedding films. Over at howtofilmweddings.com/musicbed, you can see all the promos, all the deals, do little trials and things like that, and really see why Music Bed is the number one place we recommend to license your music for your wedding films. Good friends of ours over there. If you have questions about Music Bed, be sure to let us know. But head over to howtofilmweddings.com/musicbed and get over there and start downloading the best music. You're going to save time and it's going to make your films that much better. Without further ado, let's hop into this week's episode with Carly Morris of Clicked by Carly. All right, well, welcome Carly Morris, Clicked by Carly, to the How to Film Weddings podcast. Take a second, introduce yourself, tell us everything about you from the time you were born till today. Not really.
I'm Carly. I've been born and raised here in Arizona. I'm a desert rat. Love the heat and really just love to be here. I didn't always have this insane love for videography like a lot of other people did, but my mom grew up with a Canon, clicking away at sports games and stuff, and so I kind of had that in the back of my mind, but kind of really got into it at the all start of COVID. I was graduating high school and was trying to decide where I want to go to college and kind of moving forward. And then once COVID happened, it kind of stopped all my plans and didn't really know what to do. But luckily kind of found the right people, kind of did some side jobs and brought me to start doing wedding films. And luckily here we have such amazing weddings and lots of weddings going on in Arizona. So that was a really good stepping stone into doing this a lot, and was able to just kind of get into it and meet cool people and snowball effect from there.
Yeah. So paint me a picture of what your business looks like today. How many weddings are you shooting? If you have a price range that you're charging, just kind of give us a picture of kind of who are you trying to attract for your kind of ideal clients? What types of weddings are you trying to shoot? And then just how many or what you're charging. Just a little picture of what it looks like in your world.
Yeah. So this year I'm all fully booked. I took around 30 weddings this year, and that's kind of right where I want to be. Right now I'm charging around 6 to 8. Um, and I'm really trying to focus on this year and into the next is finding couples that want more than just a wedding film, want more of their story, and are open to being vulnerable with me and kind of layering back those feelings and having intimate conversations with each other and things that will really preserve those memories and make it more of a timeless film from 5, 10, 15 years on, rather than just playing Cake by the Ocean on the reception footage and calling it a day. So I really try to dive into what their love story looks like and what they want to highlight.
Yeah, that's really cool. So you said you were graduating high school during COVID. So that means you're in your early 20s right now. And by the math, if you're doing 30 weddings, you're pushing a multi-six-figure business in your early 20s. Congrats. How does that feel? How did you grow up with entrepreneurs? Were you expecting it to make this much money for you? Are you just sleeping on stacks of cash at this point? What's the story there?
I didn't grow up with entrepreneurs, but my mom's a teacher, my dad works UPS. But I think what I really learned from my parents is that they both were really hard workers. And I kind of always just had this mentality like, if someone can't help me get to it, then I'm just gonna do it myself. And I'm actually married. I met my husband, and he's super entrepreneur, and he's got his own wedding rental business actually. So when we met, it was kind of like, wow, you're so motivating for me and very like refreshing and kind of just inspired and motivated each other to keep working hard and get to where we want to be. We were fortunate enough to buy a house last year, so not sleeping on stacks anymore or ever, but no, I've been super blessed, and I think it's kind of crazy like how quickly it's happened, but learning more about how to use it the best for a business um and to really just utilize it in my life and have a good, happy life. So I
Yeah.
love the job.
So, making that sort of money is awesome. You're working hard, of course. 30 weddings to some people, they're like, whoa, that's way more than I would do. I would assume that as grow into your business more, you might raise your prices more, take a little bit less. But 30, if that's what fits and it works, and you guys, your husband's doing his wedding rentals and stuff like that. You said it happened rather quickly, and it has to have happened because COVID was 5 years ago now. Um, what would you attribute if someone out there is maybe in their first or second year and says, "Man, I want to do 30 weddings at 6K or 8K or and part of the conversation I really want to dig in today is your social media, but as I've been watching it over the last few months, you do a really good job on your social media. But what would you say would you attribute getting here so quickly, whether that mindset or different things that you did? What kind of things stand out in your mind?
Yeah, I talk about this a lot with honestly attributing to living in Arizona has been really great and full of opportunities. I think a lot of people come here for, the weather to elope here. So there's been a lot of random opportunities through, people I find on social media. And I do have to contribute to like there is a big LDS Mormon population here that does get married pretty frequently. So it was pretty easy to kind of network into some people that I knew. And then they were having weddings every couple months, and their budget was smaller, and I could just kind of get into it and get some experience. And it's not like a complicated wedding per se, so it was kind of easier to learn and try out different techniques at every wedding. But yeah, really with anyone I would give advice to is just to like really put yourself out there and don't think about it too much. Don't think about like what people may think of you. Just think of kind of like what your end goal is. Like right now, I've got a vision board on my computer lock screen. Like, okay, what is like in my goals? What am I thinking about? And who's going to help me or what's going to help me get to that next point? And so I would say just keep hustling and just keep trying new things and not ever being comfortable of where you're at. Because I feel like I think you've heard it, like you don't grow in the comfort zone. And I think that's very true.
So you got going doing your business. You started doing a lot of, temple weddings or LDS weddings. It's a good place to like cut your teeth in the wedding industry, get your name out there. Obviously, you do have beautiful location. You've got, Camelback Mountain, and you got all these different red rock, like all these different things that are beautiful. But there's a lot of people that do video and photo, and it feels like you're rising rising up in an industry that is full of lots of really good talent. And I think that a lot of people think, well, talent, I'm good, so people will find me. I don't feel like that's super true, especially in 2024, 2025. So I know that you've done a lot with your social media, specifically Instagram, to really get yourself out there. And I want to dive in with you about like when you started to really take Instagram seriously and what it started doing for you once you did that. I mean, your business has started since Instagram was already the number one has been the number one platform since you got into business for couples looking for getting married. But did you have that eye from the beginning, or was there something that you started really getting yourself going that has really skyrocketed you to this many bookings at this rate?
Yeah, that's a great question. Last year around this time, kind of like the start of your year, you're thinking about goals and what's going on. What am I doing wrong? What am I doing right? And I really did have goals for my Instagram, my TikTok, different things in my business. And I was like, okay, like, how am I going to get to, 5,000 followers on Instagram? How am I going to get to 10,000 followers on TikTok? And I kind of just had to step back and look at my life and what like I had time for. And for a while I was doing TikTok, doing Instagram, finding the time, and I just did it. And that was when I was starting 1111 with Kennedy Nicole Films and Emma K Photography. They're great and really kind of went in deep dive into my business and we're like, if you don't have time for things and you have the resources to hire different things out, utilize it. And so I found a great girl that she's been running my social media for almost a year now, and that has made really all the difference. We've connected really great and been able to week by week assess like what's doing well, what could, use some fine tuning on. And so I really will say like social media is everything, and if you're not utilizing it to the best, you're missing out on so many people that are getting married. Like, I will say TikTok, more than anything, has the biggest reach and has honestly a great community. People kind of take it less serious sometimes and are able to be a little funnier or connect in a different way. And I think that has really worked best for me is really posting once a day, every day, and highlighting different weddings. Or for a while when I like literally a year ago, I was just putting together mood boards of weddings I wanted to do or how I would do that wedding. Like if I wanted to, video a couple getting eloping in New York City, this is how I would want it to go through the steps of the day. So now, I mean, I can't even talk about back in October, we posted a video of literally just kind of a montage of videos, like basically saying, I want to be your wedding videographer. Blew up in a day, and I got over 70 inquiries in one day, all from TikTok. And it was just wild. And it was crazy too, because I was coming out of a space with no service. And when I was getting service, it was just like boom, 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 boom. And I was like freaking out. I texted my social media girl, Jade. I'm like, whatever we did for this, let's keep this up. Like, this is insane. And I was able to book several weddings from one TikTok. And then for me, it justified paying my social media girl. So TikTok is everything, and I'm very glad it's here to stay. I was a little worried at first, but um, yeah, I think if you can just, I mean, it really is a free resource to your business.
I like a lot of what you're saying. And we talk about it a lot on the podcast about like there you can do everything, but you can't do everything well. You can do anything, but you can't do all of it and do it all in a really, and so it's like people are unwilling to invest into outsourcing parts of their business, or to bringing in team members so that, it's like you were able to obviously justify doing social media or paying somebody to do that with just the one post blowing up and you getting several bookings. And I know like over on TikTok, you have several videos with millions of views. On Instagram, you have several videos with millions of views. What is your strategy to use TikTok and Instagram? Like after you've been testing day in and day out, what type? I think you said Jay was your social media person. What type of conversations are you having, or tips would you give people if they're wanting to start posting more on their social media? So a lot of us, I think, are worried, ooh, it's got to be perfect. Or so, what kind of tips would you have for people that, based off of what you've learned over the last year of being out there pretty much every day?
Yeah, great question. And I would say it's a little different for TikTok versus Instagram, kind of mentioning that TikTok is a little bit looser and more, it feels less serious. So with TikTok, when we kind of were looking at what was doing well, I've noticed Val videos go crazy. People are, kind of a sucker for those emotions, especially if it's the groom giving a more emotional vow to to the bride. Um, People just kind of like to see men be more emotional or sensitive. So I kind of like utilize that. I'm like, I've got great grooms and they give great vows. So let's, try to use that. And, or some that had, cute personalities. And so for a while, I was like, okay, every video, like every wedding that I'm doing, I'll send you a vertical format of the vows. I want you to post, if you don't post the whole thing, post some of it, see how it does, and then kind of do a little part to like kind of extend it so people will come back and watch. Or just wait till you see their grand entrance for their reception or something like that. So it's kind of like not like baiting the TikTok audience, but coming back for more and seeing what more I had to offer for that. And sometimes I'll be honest, like it really is like out of nowhere or luck of draw of like videos that will hit. And it's just because it was posted at the right time with the right audio and the right people saw it, or the right people reposted it. And like even one, for example, one vow video that did really well, the bride, it was her vows, and she was quoting Braxton, I'm gonna butcher his last name, but he plays for Miami Dolphins. He's dating Alex Earl. So she commented and reposted, and I was like, what is real life? So I had to hit back with, love to see you guys in Miami and film some content or something like that. But um, with more Instagram, I would say, it kind of feels more serious because I will say Instagram has kind of become like a new showcase or like website almost for clients to go take a preview of what your work looks like. And one thing I did learn from doing 1111 is, if you can, like, post what you want to continue to be doing. Don't post maybe work that you're not super proud of. So, if there's wedding videos I didn't want to post, but there was moments of the wedding film that I loved, okay, I'm going to take out that part and really like slow it down or add some beautiful music to it. And that's something I'm still proud to show. So I think some people are like, well, I hated the last, two weddings I did, or I'm not super proud of it. Okay, but I bet like you're proud of something of that wedding. They booked you for a reason. Was it the location? Was it the venue? What can you highlight? The details, and kind of make sure you like tag all your vendors and kind of reach that way. What is it that you can showcase on your Instagram that's doesn't have to be crazy, but simple and to the point of what you enjoy doing? Sorry,
Yeah,
long there,
I
but
like it. Yeah, no, it's giving me lots of thoughts and ideas. So I agree with you for sure. TikTok is definitely more of a playground, and I like what you said about like it's not baiting them, but if I'm watching a video on TikTok and it's like a renovation of a house or something, and it's like by the end of the video it says follow for part two, or watch the next in the series. Like you end up watching more, and yeah, they're baiting you into it or whatever, of like leave a cliffhanger or like that kind of stuff does work. And TikTok is crazy in the reach and what it can do, and 70 inquiries in a day or whatever, that sort of thing. And if for me, if somebody is like asking me, do you know this photographer? I'm not going to their website. I'm going to their Instagram and scrolling their work real quick and looking at the thumbnails so I can see what colors they use, like the posing, like that kind of, it is something that I'm looking more seriously as the showroom before inviting them into, the website, for the contact. That's usually, people know, oh, I love them just based off their Instagram. And what you're saying about showing more of what you want to shoot and stealing certain spots and portions of a wedding day. Like, I did a wedding recently. It was fine, but it's not going to be a portfolio piece. But the groom had an incredible speech the night before about the bride. The dad of the bride also started crying during his speech. And like the little moments like that, it's like, that is stuff that I want. And it could go viral, and it could go viral to the right people. And if you're thinking about that kind of stuff, that's great. I think action step wise, you have a social media person, but like, let's say somebody's out there listening and they're like, I want 2025 to do, in 2026, I want to be saying the same things Carly was saying because she did this in 24. Maybe not everybody can hire a social media person. Like, are there any action steps that you would tell people to say, hey, at the minimum, do this on each of these platforms, stay consistent doing this? That would be my first question. And then I'll ask the next one after that. So what would you recommend they do just to like get the ball rolling in February, March of 2025?
Yeah. I like what you said, and I was kind of wanting to go over that is consistency. I think more than everything, it's really being consistent makes all the difference. Really, and if you don't have the time to do it, you're gonna make time. I feel like this is so crucial and so important in your business. If you start, every Sunday of the week or every Monday morning for 2 to 3 hours, really diving into like, okay, I've got to create 4 Instagram posts. What is that going to look like? I got to create a week work of TikTok. I would just take the time, maybe once or twice a week, batch a lot of your content, and then be done. Maybe as you're editing, make notes in a notebook of like, come back to this clip. This is worth coming back to, because I know sometimes you get in your role and you're like, nothing else matters except for finishing this video. But my advice is to try different things, to be experimental, see what doing vertical short content looks like, see what doing landscape 1 minute, 1.5, a minute and a half video looks like, or try a video that's only details and see. And for me, like that's a good thing that planners want to see, floral design people want to see and highlight. And that's what also appeals to more luxury clients, is they invest a lot into their details and design. So they want to highlight that very well. So I would kind of sit down with yourself, think about what you want to be filming in the next year, and then kind of creating a brain map from there and ideas. Like if you want to get into more storytelling, go even on your own. You can go take a couple, and create something. I know, for free, crazy, but go do that yourself and create it if you don't have it. And then it will attract more people if you post it, and then you'll get people that will pay you to do it.
Yeah. And I think it all points towards momentum. And when there's momentum in your brand, there's a lot more leverage in your brand. And so I would assume now, with a full schedule, lots of weddings that you can show off, you're obviously not probably going to show everything from all 30 weddings this year, but tell me about what it has done to promote you in your market with work, like just being, now that you're getting these weddings, like the point of social media, to connect with people, to book more weddings. so that you can connect with more people and book more weddings. And it's this spinning cycle kind of upward where you have now more momentum, you have more work, you have better relationships, you can charge more. What would you say that you're doing, or what do you, when it comes to TikTok, Instagram, social media, your brand, what opportunities has it gotten to get you in front of the right people? And maybe talk about the value of that.
Yeah. Um, Great question. I feel like getting to this spot has been awesome and the growth has been really rewarding. I think a side effect of that has been honestly a confidence boost in myself and knowing that, I can be around, maybe more luxury people in Arizona, wedding vendors, and I'm able to like maybe just talk to them more. Not that like anyone is scary and wouldn't talk to you, but it kind of has built my self-esteem of like, oh, I can, you know, kind of relate more to like what these vendors are experiencing and um even, get the opportunity to second shoot with different people and kind of see what I can do to benefit them and what they do differently that I could maybe implement in my business. With doing this amount of, you know, weddings, I think it's been able to bring on different travel weddings, which has been great. And I think that was a big part that I wanted because it kind of you think about it, not that it's like the same thing, but going on a trip is something to like look forward to and something to like kind of take you out of your environment. And like, for example, I have a wedding next month in Charleston that I'm so excited for. And it's already got my ball rolling of like footage I want to get, B-roll I want to get the day before, and drone footage. And what can I get that could be different from, here in Arizona that highlights the scenery and the couple. And I've even been thinking, if I have time, I might as well, you know, maybe I could stop by the rehearsal dinner. But, if they've got speeches going on and I'm going to be in my hotel anyways, I could just stop by and get some footage that I know would be really great in the end for me.
Yeah, and it opens up a lot of opportunities. And if your mind, like, I think that a lot of us think, well, if I just make good work, that's enough. But if you get into this cycle where you're getting more people to know that you exist, your brand is more polished and looking more beautiful and more like basically more of what you really want it to be. Planners start reaching out. They see that you worked with that other planner. They start following you along with you. You start showing them little bits of pieces of your life behind the scenes, and you start showing up in your stories, and you start like you're consistent. People are like, that's Carly. I haven't worked with her, but I have a client that I think let me reach out to her about that. Or I had a friend. It's like I got a really great booking this week because somebody had followed me on social media 4 years ago after a wedding I did in Charleston. And they couldn't afford me, but their friend can afford me. And they had reached out about their wedding. And it just, over time, when you do these things right over the years, you start to catch this momentum where, not every client is my client, but the ones that reach out, I have a call here in an hour and a half where it's like, they've told me their budget, they're ready to book, they're ready to go because I have stayed consistent on social media. And whenever they get on a call with me, they've seen behind the scenes of my life. They know that I'm a dad of two girls. They know I like to work out. They know that I'm whatever I'm doing. And they're like, I like this guy. I want him at the wedding. And it's much easier and your booking rates go way up. And so it's just this cycle of doing these things so that you can take advantage of opportunities. And absolutely, you should go to that rehearsal dinner. And like, especially if you want more people to pay for you to go to rehearsal dinners. It's the chicken or the egg always. And it's like, oh, I'm going to get all this extra footage. I'm going to get an extra night at an Airbnb. I'm going to meet up with some locals, whatever it is that you want to do. But taking full advantage of those opportunities leads to even better bookings.
Correct. And I'm glad you mentioned planners. That is so true. I feel like, people talk. People talk when you're at weddings or, I we'll post a teaser film a week after the wedding, and I tagged this planner, and then she reposted it, and then another planner in Scottsdale saw it and has referred me or something. So I think that's exactly true. I think you're able to utilize that and network with planners over everything is such good leads, and being able to respond quickly to them, respect their time, and be communicative through the whole process. Then it's like boom, you're in with this planner and you guys work well.
Yeah, and then once that happens, and then you take it to the real life thing, the 4 dimensions, not the 2 or 3 dimensions on the internet, and you show up at a wedding and you're thinking about how you can serve the couple, the planner. You're making great relationships, and it is like a carousel that's just going in circles, but it's kind of going up the mountain every year. I was going to ask you, kind of in wrapping up, when you're at weddings or when you're going to be doing a wedding, what are you thinking about when it comes to, are you thinking about capturing certain things for social media, for the planners specifically? Is there anything about your approach on a day that is specifically so you can have what you need for Instagram, and any tips that you would want to share on that?
Yeah, I really, going into a wedding for me takes, I look forward to it. Me talking about this Charleston wedding, but I have several weddings coming up in March that are in my mind, and I tell my couples this when we on our phone call is that, you know, when I show up to your wedding, I don't have like a song in mind of what I'm going to use for your film. I don't have like this idea already of what I want it to be. I'm there to document your day, and what I can best use that is great. So I don't necessarily like come in thinking, okay, I'm gonna make a reel or TikTok of just their tablescape, but I'm also thinking about maybe who's contributing to this wedding, what it could look like, and what's important for them. Sometimes it is really important that, this floral arch was all my favorite flowers and it's going to be a highlight of the ceremony. So I want to highlight that. But for me, I don't really go in thinking like, okay, I got to get this shot for the planner. She's going to need it. Or, she said something to me about getting it. Really, at the heart of it is I want to get and document the day for the couple and things that they may have missed or didn't get to see or, experience fully, and have them be able to relive those moments. I think if anything, yeah, like cover your bases, like have different tripods during speeches and ceremony to get moments that, not only you can get or your second can get. Make sure you arrive early to get some drone footage, or, take the time to unpack your bag, get all your audio equipment out. So, sorry, to answer your question, I don't feel like I come in thinking that I want to get different things for social media. I really just kind of try to be observant and um, be there for my couples, and whatever I get, kind of when I backing up my footage, I kind of take note and will keep that to side, like come back to this and it's worth putting something together. Then I'll do that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
yeah.
that's very good. And I don't think that, like, for me, one of my big selling points is like, I'm not making this film so that, like, I'm not making this film for Instagram. I'm making it for you, the couple. Um, but then I am processing, like, through the weekend, a wedding I did in Georgia last month. It's like, oh, that speech as it's happening, I'm making a note in my phone. Like, that's going to be a good one for a vow, or, ooh, this groom's vows are really good, or, stuff like that. Or, oh my goodness, they spent 50 grand or 100 grand on flowers, and I didn't really know they were going to spend this much on the flowers. Let me go a little extra. I know I'm going to make a reel for that. Like, so I am thinking about it, but I'm also not thinking about it. My goal is, how can I document the day? But then I am, if I'm going into a wedding with a planner that I really want to, get extra for, I might even bring in an extra person to get details just for the planner. Little things like that add up. And I think a lot of us don't think about like what we're doing with social media is we're really planting seeds in the soil of our business, and then we're letting them grow, and you just never know what's going to sprout and when. And a lot of people put a seed in the ground, they water it once, and they say, well, social media doesn't work for me, but there was a bunch of stuff going on under the soil. And what you will see in your business, and you're really early in it still, but like the more weddings that you do, the more weddings that will attract, the more that you show what you attract, the more that you'll only get those kinds of inquiries. And I literally just booked a wedding in the Bahamas yesterday for next year, and it's a big one. The couple's gorgeous. I'm very excited about it. They found me because they saw a wedding I did in Cabo 2 years ago, and I did that wedding for, I think it was around 8 or 10 grand all in, which is pretty low for traveling and stuff for me. My starting price is a little more than that, but we shot it as if it was a $25,000 wedding, and we promoted it on, it's like we've shown several clips on social media. It pops up if you type in Cabo wedding video. Or, and anyway, this groom of the Bahamas bride reached out this week and was like, I found you on Instagram this week when searching for wedding videos or whatever. Went to your YouTube, saw this video. My fiance's in love with this Cabo film. We have to book you. Met with them, met with the mom. They wired the deposit yesterday, and I'm going to get that $25,000 plus booking 2 years after I did the wedding for, I shot it for 10 like it was the 25, but that was a seed that I put into the soil. And then the meeting I'm having later today is, again, the Charleston wedding I did 4 years ago now, did for around the same price. And that one has booked me $100,000 plus worth of bookings over the last 4 years, because I went there and I shot it as if it was the opportunity that it was. And we have all these tools. We have this platform that's free to use, and it's a lot of work. But like what I'm noticing about someone like you, Carly, is like you take action, and you're somebody that's like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to find somebody. I'm not going to let somebody tell me no. And so like your action was, I got to find somebody to help me with the social media. I'll pay somebody. I don't care. I know the importance of it, and I'm not going to let anybody stop me. I would love to kind of wrap up by just asking you what action steps, or like what does that mean to you to take action, and any advice for anyone out there listening on how they should or could take action.
Yeah. Also, congrats about the Thomas wedding.
Oh,
That's
oh, thanks.
incredible.
Yeah.
But um, I think for anyone wanting to take action is, and I think this is great. It's still early in the year. I think some people are, you know, January was long and horrible, but you kind of want to restart now, restart for the now, reevaluate your goals if you didn't in January, see where you're at, look at it, be kind of honest with yourself. Where are my bookings at? Like, how many numbers do I want to do? And what am I going to do to get there? And that might look like taking a planner out to lunch that you really love their work and would love to kind of invest into to see how you could get the opportunity to work with them, pick their brain about different things. Kind of just start thinking outside of the box, investing into going to styled shoots. If you want to do destination or if you want to do elopements, okay, go do one where it's very elopement based or, heavy. And the same thing, like if you want to get serious about social media, look into maybe someone taking that over for you, or look into your calendar and see what you can make time for. Um, even with like travel weddings, if you want to, I know a lot of people are like, I really want to get into just getting out of here, doing different things. It's like, okay, then I think a lot of that starts with envisioning that you're already there. You're already filming those weddings. I'm already in, south of France. I've got this sundress on. I've got my dual harness. I've got all my cameras. I'm miking people up. I think that is a big thing also that's helped me is already visualizing that I'm doing it. And then when it comes, I'm like, oh my gosh, how did that happen? I'm like, oh, because I've already been thinking about it. I'm doing the steps that person would take to take on that wedding, to have the confidence to do that wedding. And, someone that is, charging $15,000, $20,000 a wedding. What are they doing to get to that place? Who are they having conversations with? What books are they reading? Are they taking the time to invest into their client experience? So I think a big part is like looking at, someone you admire in the industry or someone that's doing things you want to do and kind of like backtracking maybe the steps they're taking or um, things that they enjoy doing for their business and seeing if that works for you and implementing it. And like I said earlier, like just experimenting, not thinking, try it out. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And like you said, that some of these seeds take a little bit longer to sprout. I think that's very true. I think also having patience with yourself to let things flourish is crucial and important, and to not beat yourself up over it and allow yourself some grace is important because, there's difference in shifts in, people's financial situations of whether they want to invest into a wedding. It could not be, always personal that they didn't book with you, but it's, things that happen. And I think the way you react to them and the way you sympathize with people is also a crucial part of the client experience. So,
I like all that, and I agree. I do think that a lot of people patience is so difficult, and doing the right things, thinking about your brand as a whole, not just the wedding film only, but like how are people perceiving you? What does your brand look like to planners, to people reaching out, and do they feel like they can get to know you? All these things, and consistency and patience. I mean, these are not sexy words. It's not like, oh, wow, let's go to a course on consistency and patience, or like waiting on your business to grow like a plant. I mean, this is boring stuff that's like very common sense, but I think we get in such a hurry. We doom scroll and we watch all these entrepreneurs doing all these big things, and we're just like, if you just stick to a plan of being consistent over time and paying attention to visualizing the things that you want to be doing, and taking action on making those things happen, and realizing, oh, I might have to take my marketing budget, might be giving away some stuff this year. Oh, okay, well, that's not the plan forever, but like, is that going to get you to where you want to go faster? Is that like a slingshot where you feel like you're going backwards, but then you get let go and you're flying ahead of the competition? So all good things. Thank you so much, Carly, for taking the time. I know you're over on Instagram and TikTok. Where can people find you to check out some of your work, stalk you a little bit, say hello to you? Give us the details.
yeah, it's just Clicked by Carly on Instagram and TikTok. Follow me on both. TikTok, we have a lot of fun. Instagram, we have a lot of fun. So, yeah, I'd love to connect with you guys there.
Clicked by Carly. Thank you so much for taking the time to be on the podcast. Can't wait to meet you in real life. Coming to Arizona a couple times this year. Maybe we can make it happen.
For sure.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Carly, for taking the time. That was a great conversation. I really do think it's important for us to be paying attention to our social media, how we're using it, and how to be consistent. I know you have to be patient, and it takes time to grow your business, but don't get weary in the middle of doing it. Do the right things, be consistent, find a way for yourself to be consistent. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. It really means the world to me and Nick, and all of our sponsors, that you're here, that you're checking us out, you're growing, you're listening, you're taking those action steps. If you want more information about growing with your business, be sure to head over to howtofilmweddings.com. We've got all kinds of freebies over there. We got digital templates. We've got a digital template shop. We've got posing guides. We've got all kinds of great things for you to help you in your brand, just over at howtofilmweddings.com. And last but not least, if you haven't heard, over on my personal Instagram, John Bunn Films, I'm putting together some in-person workshops, some one-day workshops, and I would love for you to consider coming. In the $500 to $750 range for styled shoots, headshots, and most importantly, a deep dive on business for 4 to 5 hours. So it's like a one-day event. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm coming to a lot of different places is the goal, if you guys will show up. So I've heard lots of good things. But if you go over to John Bunn Films on Instagram, you can see a spot to grab a wait list for when I'm going to announce certain cities. If you want me to come to your city, just hit me up. Send me a message. Let me know. If I'm going to be near the area, I want to do one-day workshops and meet more with you. That's all that I have for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, we'll see you.